Russian attack helicopters proving to be a big thing to overcome for Ukraine during their summer offensive. My name is Max Villman. I'm a former Swedish Air Force fighter pilot on the Gripen, and let's go. Alright, so we're going to start up with looking at the map. As you all know, Ukraine has started their summer-spring counteroffensive. And as you see along the front line, there's a big front line. There's several areas where Ukraine is trying to probe and push right now. And we will see where the main effort will come. And as you probably have read and understood so far, when you go on the offensive, you have facing a defender, which is prepared and has fortifications, mines, etc., etc. The thing you have as an attacker, though, is the advantage that you choose where and when to attack, and you can put together a lot of forces on one particular spot and sort of overwhelm the defender. And the defender can, of course, counter this in many different ways. And one of the main ways which Russia has used and utilized during this offensive is using attack helicopters. And attack helicopters are great for this because you can have airfields positioned well behind in the safety behind the front, and then can quite quickly come up to the front and engage targets that are advancing upon your lines. And just to give you an idea of why they are so effective, this is an old video from an old helicopter, also used by the Swedish Army actually, as an attack helicopter. With tow missiles, it's just to give you an idea of how low these kinds of helicopters can fly and why they are so difficult to detect. They can obviously hide behind the terrain, and even though Ukraine is very, very flat, you just need a tree line basically to be hidden behind, and then you can very, very calmly start to hover and then pop up behind the trees, shoot missiles against targets, and then pop down again behind the tree line, which makes it very, very difficult for the attackers in this case to see them and to engage them effectively. Another problem you have is that most radars are searching for Doppler. So basically, if you are moving, you are easy to detect with radar. But since the helicopter is probably standing still when it is shooting, you need to detect only their propeller blades. So it's a difficult target to engage, and the engagement distances can be quite far. Be sure to stay. We're going to look at some really, really cool videos soon. So this is exactly what has happened, and I tweeted out about this in earlier June to see what will happen with these kinds of threat. So let's jump straight into the clips. So Russia has published several clips on attack helicopters engaging targets. In this case, it looks like two kinds of Jeeps, Humvees. I don't know exactly what kind of targets it is. They have pixeled and removed some sensitive information. But still, we have some information about these kinds of clips. And before we go into that, let's take a quick look at this video. So you can see this is Russia's one of their main attack helicopters, the Ka-52 Alligator. You see the Z sign there. And typically they will be flying lower than this. But that is what this helicopter looks like. It has this two kind of, it looks very, very special. And if we look in here, there's probably a helicopter that is hovering. You can see the two green lines here. There's the missile firing, the two green bars here, and then you have these kind of bars. They are flight instruments. You can see that the helicopter is slightly tilted to one side, slightly. There is the explosion, and immediately the helicopter starts to engage the next target, which makes me believe that this is not a very high threat environment. Looks like these vehicles are abandoned, so it looks quite safe for them to stay shooting at more targets. Otherwise, they would probably do a maneuver away to a new and pop up somewhere else that I have prepared already. You see the missile again here, and I hit here. And these missiles are fired from several kilometers, several miles away. Let's look here. We will have some sound here as well, I think. Okay, did this not work? Let's put this one instead. There's the missile. You even have the tone, so it seems like it's locked on. And you see immediately after the shot has been successful, they do maneuver away from the dangerous area and pop up somewhere else. And I want to say that also that normally these helicopters have two persons on board, so there's one pilot and one weapon system operator. So in this case, we're looking probably at the weapon system operator's screen, and the big screen in the front here is probably the pilot screen. You can see it's have wings level here. Perhaps this is a scale to see how much nose up and down they have, and you have the flight instruments here to see how much bank you have, etc., etc. And this might be, I don't know exactly what this is. If this is 400 meters, 40 meters, I don't know exactly how they are done. And you see the talk between, this is the weapon system operator and the pilot talking to each other. Missile away. You hear the tone. It looks like a Humvee. And immediately maneuver away there. And as you saw before the explosion here, if you go back, you see that they are tilted slightly, so they are following with their nose towards the truck at all times here. So that is typical for attack helicopters. I think we looked at this one. Yeah, it's the same one. And here is another video. They have pixeled sensitive information. Let's see if we see the missile again. It looks like the truck is coming towards us. Yes, you see the missile here in the top. And you see the bar here, the square, which means that they are locked onto this target. And as soon as they are done with the engagement, they move away to the next place. Another lock here, looks like a car, and then maneuver away. Guy Plopsky is a person you should definitely follow on Twitter, except me. This is also a very interesting video because it's not a truck. It looks like it's an armored column here. Probably some sort of IFV, infantry fighting vehicle or tank. You see it's IR this time with white being hot. So everything white is hotter than the background. You see the missile coming down here. There's the missile and there's the target. Big explosion. White is hot, as we talked about. Looks like it's burning quite heavily. And in this case, there's no maneuvering away. Instead, they are looking for more targets, which, yeah, it's a dangerous thing to stay there, of course. And of course, Ukraine knows this, and they are trying to counter it with man-pads, man-portable air defenses, like Stingers, shoulder-launched systems. The thing is, if you use NASAMS or IST, these systems are typically behind the front, which makes it difficult to detect these kinds of helicopters that are actually where you're trying to attack. So you need to bring your own ground-to-air defenses with you as you advance. And Russia has lost, according to Ukraine sources, about 6 of these alligators within the last, after the counteroffensive has begun, which definitely shows us that they are using attack helicopters and that Ukraine is trying to counter them. But it's a big threat, obviously, for armored columns and other things moving forward, and it's something that Ukraine needs to be very aware of, and it looks like they are. But I'm ending it here, and if you want to, you can send me a coffee to support the channel. The link is below. Please like the video and give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment for the algorithm, and until next time, as always, fly safe.